Hey, this is Nick Kennedy, the Gray Man, and I'm doing this ad hoc. Uh, I think I'm actually going to start doing something different. I've been trying to find my niche as far as doing a program, and I've not been entirely successful. As one of my coworkers reminded me, I've only got 3 subscribers, which isn't terribly impressive, to be honest with you. I would probably think that's probably not going to get you laid with many women if you say, "Hey, I got 3 subscribers." Oh, but seriously, um, I'm thinking about doing something called the Warrior, which is uh, whenever I feel like it, because I am the gray man. I'm going to pick someone who I think stands out in our society as being someone of note. Uh, and There's actually going to be 2 people today that I'm actually going to point out as being warriors. This my first show is doing the warrior, so and I'm the gray man. I can do whatever I want. By the way, people actually ask me why I'm gray, and it's a very interesting question. For those of you who don't know, let me explain why I'm gray. I grew up in a very affluent white upper class family in the city of Brockton, and I hung around in the hood with black people. I, I've been very happily married to a beautiful Nigerian woman who everyone has a great honor of meeting. She's really a great cook. But if you want to actually taste her food, you got to be spicy oriented, or your face is going to burn off right in front of you. It'll just like dissipate. It'll be gone. Uh, Luckily, I like spicy food. But no, she's the love of my life. Let me give you a little bit of a background about me because I really haven't been very forthcoming with that information earlier on. So I grew up in Brockton. Hung around with a lot of black people in very bad areas of Brockton. I met Marvin Hagler, who, uh, for my money, is the best middleweight champion and maybe the best fighter, pound for pound, that I've ever met. One of the nicest guys. He liked women and he liked to drink, and he was a good guy. His brother Robbie Sims, also a really nice guy. Um, can't say enough good things about both of them. Now, if Marvin Hagler was alive, which he's not, he's actually dead. He wouldn't remember me, but I mean, he was friends with everyone in Brockton, as Robbie Sims was. They were just really good guys. So yeah, I went to a Catholic school most of my life. Uh, I graduated with a degree in philosophy and theology. I am a minister. I'm very religious, although despite the pictures behind me, I do like I do like women. But I mean, no, I mean, yeah, it's came from a very, very, very close knit Irish family, and uh, grew up in Boston area. Moved out to Atlanta because I came out here. Oh, geez, how many years ago? Maybe like 7 years ago. And I just walked into a supermarket, and a woman walked by me and said, "God bless you." I'm like, no, I grew up in the Northeast, so people grunt at you. And she's like, "God bless you." I'm like, really? God bless me? And she said, "Yes." I said, do you work here?" She's like, "No, I just bought some bread." Some woman I didn't even know came up and gave me a blessing. It's like I want to be part of this. So I moved out here, um, and yeah, so I'm in the Atlanta area. I've got a very good job. I love my job. I love the people I work with. Uh, I did the studio because I was kind of bored. My wife is still in the Boston area, and we do meet each other occasionally. Yeah, so let's start with the first episode of The Warrior. This might surprise some of you, uh, but my first warrior is going to be Young Miami. She's one of the City Girls. If you guys don't know, there are 2 very young, beautiful women that do rap music. Again, I'm almost 60 years old, but I'm gray, and I do appreciate the Black culture very much. Uh, yeah, so they were really, something coming up, and they were really doing, uh, a lot of success, and I guess JT, which is actually, in my opinion, they're both beautiful women. My favorite is JT. Um, she, got in a little bit of trouble there in early 20s. We all make mistakes, and I guess there was something like credit card theft or something like that. Um, Inexplicably, she was given 2 years in jail for credit card theft or fraud or something like that. Um, Now I don't wanna be, controversial. Uh, I try to keep myself away from political things, but in this time when we're in such war and, people are crossing over the border and raping our children and killing people, to give a young girl for credit card theft 2 years in jail seems a little bit harsh to me, in my opinion. But they put her away. She's no threat to anybody. I mean, seriously, she's like 5 feet, maybe 100 pounds. Uh, no physical threat, but yet the judge found it that she was a threat to society, and he had to put her away for 2 years. So Young Miami, the other half, decided that she was going to keep the group alive by herself. And lo and behold, what happened? She found out she was pregnant. So, two beautiful, beautiful young black women rappers that actually were making their impression on the stage by getting up there and using sex, which, by the way, is fine. I mean, that's really okay. I mean, you do whatever you gotta do to survive, right? I mean, they were using sex appeal, who hasn't? Marilyn Monroe, geez. Happy birthday, Mr. President. I mean, please. They got up there and they were shaking it around, but one of them had to go to prison because she was a danger to society, apparently. Uh, and young Miami, uh, at 7 months pregnant, had to get on the stage and put on these tiny little costumes and shake it to keep the group alive. And you know what happened? When JT got out of prison, they were more popular than ever. So, Young Miami, you are my warrior for today. Done. Second warrior, who I previously mentioned, Marvin Hagler. So let me tell you about Marvin Hagler. Marvin Hagler, for those of you who are too young to know, was for some reason, he was disrespected from day one. Uh, he got ripped off on his fight. He lost decisions that he should have won. Uh, his worst defense was he actually fought Vito Antuofermo for the championship, and to his detriment, he didn't knock him out. And Vito Antuofermo was still standing, so they gave it a draw. So Vito won. Um, he kept his belt. And Marvin Hagler was very, very angry. No, because he really did win that fight. You can look it up on YouTube. So what happened was Vito lost his title to Alan Minter from England. And Alan Minter was a very, very good fighter, no doubt about that. Not taking anything away from Alan Minter. He beat Vito, which is something that Hagler could not do. So what happened was, I think it was in Wembley, by the way, and I could be wrong, but I think Hagler actually told me he went to Wembley, London, to actually fight Alan Minter, and it was a massacre. It was a massacre. He hit Alan Minter so hard. I've never seen this in my life before. He hit Alan Minter so hard. Alan Minter put his hand to his face to make sure his face was still there. Um, and Hagler obviously won the championship. And it was going for Carlos Monzon's record. I think it was for like 16 consecutive defenses. And Sugar Ray Leonard came out of retirement. Um, he had attached retina for those of you who are not old enough to remember. So what happened was is Sugar Ray Leonard decided that he was going to come back against Marvin Hagler. Um, he did a really good job. I'm not taking anything away from Sugar Ray Leonard. And he won the fight, obviously. But what he did the whole fight was he let Marvin Hagler chase him, And then the last 30 seconds, he came in with a combination. He was a lot quicker than Hagler. Hagler was a southpaw. He actually um, uh, uh, he wasn't the fastest guy, but when he hit you, you felt it. Sugar Ray Leonard was much quicker, didn't really have much strength, although he did knock out Thomas Hearns. But that's a whole different conversation, which is another conversation. But I got to tell you, Hagler chased him the whole fight, and Leonard would like fight the last 30 seconds and run like hell. And I got him a decision. And Hagler, uh, Leonard came back and said that, oh, so this is what Hagler told me. This is great. So Hagler walked away. He's like, I'm done. I'm not fighting another fight again. And then he went to a party because Hagler did love parties. Believe me, Hagler loved parties. And he went to a party with Sugar Ray Leonard, Thomas Hearns, and himself. And again, this is what I was told. I don't want any like lawsuits. This is just something that Hagler told me one night in the bar. So but he said that Leonard called him and Thomas Hearns into a room, and true story by the way. And Leonard goes, we're money. And Hagler goes, what do you mean about money? He's like, the three of us, we can fight each other around and around and around and around and around, and no one has to get hurt. And Hagler says, I'm all about the hurt. And he walked out of the room and never talked to either one of them again. Now that was told to me. I mean, I've got no evidence, so but that was told to me by Marvin Hagler in a bar room once. He's like, I'm all about the hurt. So Marvin Hagler, you are my warrior for your principles and your fighting skills, and for being a friend of mine, even though you don't know who the hell I am, probably. Uh, um, you and by the way, a special call out to Robbie Sims, who is a really great guy too. I'd like to run into you again sometime if you're in the Atlanta area. Uh, so hey, that's Nick the Gray Man. I'm going to sign off today, and those are your warriors for the day.